Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Impeachment. Martial law. What do you think? The Democrats is basically divided to whether impeach Trump or not to. Roughly about 10 Dems is pushing to impeach Trump. Maybe a few Republicans right to stay and, why do they want to impeach Trump? Has nothing to do with the conclusion of the Mueller report, the Attorney General William Barr. Nothing to do with that. This impeachment of our president only represents that they would do anything to get rid of him, to proceed with their plan to bring in all illegals, migrants, into our country by paying them with money to get here. After they get here, free welfare, free food stamps, free driver's license, free ID, state ID. That's their rules of impeachment. To commit the biggest voting fraud. When you're talking about the Russian hoax collusion, it's nothing compared to what they're doing right now. To have all these migrants that's undocumented, no proof of address, no proof of social security number, nothing. They're even trying to say that every inmate in jail, prison, should be allowed to vote. Now, I agree that convicted felons, in some cases, should be allowed to vote. Especially if they got out, working, paying the bills, abiding by the law. In the right perspective way. The hacking of the 2016 election did happen. The interference from Russia did happen. But it could have been from the Russian government. And if it was, it could be young little boys, punks, or some fat one, or a skinny one, who cares? If you go back and listen and see the interference broke through the DNC's campaign. The RNC was untouched. Now, really think that this impeachment is going to go through? In my mind, I don't think so. They're going to keep pushing everything. That impeachment is going to force the martial law into play. You think that it won't happen? Martial law is coming. In the history of our country, there's been 4 presidents assassinated. Only 1 Democrat was assassinated. That was Kennedy. I know, little boy. I know, little one. You can come up here if you want, beside me. Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. Back then it was called Union Party. Now, there's 2 more Republicans that was assassinated. That shows you something. Stay high. Stay high. It's okay, little one. That's Sylvester, my boy. This impeachment is going to bring in martial law full force. And when it happens, you can't say that you didn't do it. Over the course of the history, there's been several government shutdowns. And that's just a little tiny bit of the martial law. The martial law, for the force, for the effect, is way bigger. When martial law comes in, there is no law but military. Which one's going to win? The impeachment or the martial law? I think it was Friday, in the press, in the conference Friday that President Trump held. I think it was in Minnesota, I think. I'm not for sure. The Hoosier country. Good job, President, for signing that executive order to withdraw from the UN treaty, arms treaty. Good move. We didn't need them. This is just a piece of the martial law. Just a tiny little piece. If you think just one, that's multiple. You can't have one without the other. What does that mean? You can't shit without food. You can't piss without water or liquid. What a way to go. That means impeachment comes with martial law. People wonder, how can that be? Ah, Mr. Buford, you're just crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah, I do. I know a lot more than you think I do. The truth is not on YouTube and truthers. The truth is not upon me. Truth lies within. I made a video about 2020 election. The biggest crime of all, the biggest voting fraud of all in 2020. That's the biggest crime. That's why this impeachment they want. And you really think that the real patriots, the people that love our country, is going to sit there and allow the impeachment to take our guns, our weapons? You got things fucked up. We're not bearing down. God said, bear down to no man. I will not bear down to the impeachment to be controlled. I will stand up for the martial law. To hold my ground for my family. There's a couple kinds of family. You have your inner circle, which is your blood, your mother, your father, your sons, your daughters, your brothers, your sisters, your immediate family. Then you broaden that family out to friends. After the friends, the family gets bigger. United States of America, the USA, this land, this country is my family. And no, I'm not talking about the government, because 90% of the government just don't care. You want to run your mouth about family? The biggest inner circle of the family is God. God, blood, friends, the land you live on, walk on, breathe, eat, drink. No impeachment is going to allow me to give up that. Remember, like I said, you can't have impeachment without the martial law. A few years back, they impeached Bill Clinton because he got his dick sucking out of office. That was the least thing you could impeach a president, because he's got his goddamn dick sucked. Come on, get real. But now you get a president that stands up and fights for his people. Here's the kicker to this one. This impeachment goes under the obstruction. in the court of law, I mean, there are multiple courts of law here. You have circuit court. You have the civil rights court, the housing court, superior court. Then you get into the federal court. No, federal is not superior, supreme. They're entwined with each other, but they're not the same. Supreme Court deals with the laws, passing them. Federal court goes up on federal-based cases. And each one of these court systems has a rule with or without evidence. In the court of law, in the criminal justice, they had this thing that says, he said, she said. And 9 times out of 10, it's unproven. Especially when it's just, for instance, okay, prime example. My boy Sylvester here. Very good boy. And me. If I told Sylvester that I shit in my pants, okay, just for instance, example, EXAMPLE, in parentheses. Now, if someone smells my shitty pants, takes me to court, how the hell are they going to say that I told my cat that? He said, she said. This based on the same thing with this collusion and obstruction with our president. They have no evidence that there was another person in that room with Trump, Comey, each one of these so-called obstruction. There's only 2 people. 2. That's Trump, the president, and that person. Here we go. He said. How you gonna prove it? You cannot prove he said, she said, he said, without having another human in that room, in that conversation. Or unless you illegally, secretly record it. Old saying with that one, audio does not stand in court. Think about it, same thing with the lie detector test. It doesn't stand in court. No court. So if the Congress want to go by that to place impeachment, you need to think twice before you do. Impeachment comes with martial law. I would advise you to really wake up, people. And all you dumb fucking ostrich assholes, get your head out of the goddamn hole with your ass in the air like a fucking ostrich. Stand up straight like a real man, a human. Because this impeachment is going to bring martial law. Peace out, people. Love you. My family will keep you in your prayers. My boy will keep you in his prayers. So, love you.